around Michigan. Join our host, Tyler Kieft, as he talks with community members, business leaders, and professional experts about the stories that impact you. You're watching the Megacast on Civic Center TV.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19, he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
I'm Steve Eichmann of the Detroit Red Wings, and I think every child in Michigan deserves a safe, healthy, and happy childhood. Can we build a state where Children Trust Michigan isn't just a name, but something our kids believe? Please support Children Trust Michigan as the voice for children and families by visiting the website to learn more.
You're listening to your radio homes for the Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. Today's edition of the Megacast begins now. Welcome to the Megacast, our live, daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. You can always stay up to date with us and find all of our partnering stations on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. There you'll find us Monday through Friday, live, 10 a.m. until 11 a.m., all throughout our network, and find all of our full shows in each individual segment on demand. So whether you're able to watch us on TV, on a variety of different community television stations throughout Oakland County, on the radio, listen to us on 88.1 The Biff out of the Berkley Bloomfield area, and on 89.3 Lakes FM in the greater West Bloomfield communities. Or you can also watch us live to tape on places like Orion Neighborhood Television and Birmingham Area Municipal Access, and find us online on civiccentertv.com as well as on My Michigan TV, which also airs a number of different other programs from across the state of Michigan, all about the state of Michigan for free each and every day. It's on their website at mymytv.com, on their free apps as well for your smartphones and your smart TVs. All of this information can be found on their website on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. Another great resource for you we're providing on our website on civiccentertv.com is our local news page. There you'll find links to public health information from a number of different agencies, locally, statewide, and federally. And you'll find each of our top stories making news every single morning before our live broadcasts of the Megacast from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. each and every day. Our top story this morning comes from Mike McConnell at the Oakland Press, as many of our local communities here in Oakland County have joined efforts to reduce the impact of the opioid crisis on our local area by offering NARCAN training as well as free nasal NARCAN rescue kits throughout their municipalities. That now includes the city of Berkley, whose partnership with the local nonprofit Families Against Narcotics, or FAN, helped establish rescue boxes throughout the Berkley community with 4 locations featuring these life-saving kits. Those are in the city at the Department of Public Safety, or Police Department, the library, City Hall, as well as the Parks and Recreation Building. This is all part of a concerted effort by the city to prevent and treat substance use disorders aggressively, but also with a certain level of sensitivity. Berkley previously had partnered with another local organization called Hope Not Handcuffs to establish a program where addicts can visit their local police station to get treatment before their substance abuse ends up landing them in a jail cell. Berkley Public Safety Lieutenant Andrew Hatfield said this is all connected to the city's goal of providing these resources necessary to change lives, help people in tough situations, and prevent the tragic loss of life that so many communities here locally and beyond have experienced as a result of the opioid crisis. Lieutenant Hatfield told the Oakland Press, quote, "If someone is struggling and needs treatment resources, we help guide them to the resources that they need. They can come to the public safety building anytime, and we can get them in touch with one of the angels, so to speak, from FAN, or Families Against Narcotics, who will help, who come and help them with whatever they need, end closed quote. Families Against Narcotics features these rescue boxes in many of our local communities here in Oakland County, including in Troy and Oak Park, as well as in nearby areas such as the city of Detroit, as well as in Warren. Additionally, communities here in the Greater West Bloomfield area, where they have several Save a Life stations in partnership with the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities, also participate in these kinds of programs, such as what we've seen now in Berkley with Families Against Narcotics, having similar stations set up at several different areas across the municipality, including a variety of different places in Oakland County, not just in the Greater West Bloomfield area, where you'll see those boxes that will be called Save a Life stations. They include at Town Hall in West Bloomfield Township. That's in addition to a number of other locations throughout the Greater West Bloomfield community and other Oakland County communities through the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities. In this case, in Berkley, Families Against Narcotics partnered with the city of Berkley, with Berkley Public Safety, to set up rescue boxes in several locations throughout the city. Again, those are the Department of Public Safety, the Berkley Library, Berkley City Hall, as well as the Berkley Parks and Recreation Building. You can learn even more information about these life-saving kits, where they're available, and where they're also available in your local area if you're not in the city of Berkley or in one of these other communities that we've touched on that has these locations like Troy, or the Save a Life boxes that are in the Greater West Bloomfield communities and other spots. You can find more information by visiting our local news page today and reading this article from the Oakland Press. In addition, making headlines today on our local news page from Mark Vest at the Farmington Press through CNG News. Changes are on the way to the Zekelman Holocaust Center in Farmington Hills, where the main exhibit will be fully updated for the first time in nearly 20 years. The main exhibit, which opened in 2004, will be upgraded to include interactive learning features in order to boost the learning experience for people of all ages coming to the center. This won't be ready to go anytime all too soon, with the reopening expected to happen early on next year. However, the changes will help bring the educational structure of the Holocaust Center into modern times, and is set to help immerse visitors into the learning experience better than ever before. The renovation will be extensive, thus the timetable stretching throughout the remainder of this year, as well as the $31 million price tag that goes along with it. Says the Zekelman Holocaust Center's Mark Mulder, quote, "In terms of the subject matter, it will still kind of feature a lot of the subject that you would see there if you had been here in previous years. We'll be adding content that had been missing previously about the beginning of World War II, especially focusing on kind of a newer area of study in Holocaust research that we call the Holocaust by Bullets, which is a lot of the murders that happened in Eastern Europe that did not involve gas chambers, concentration camps, and the like. And this is a field that we're learning more and more about as time goes on. So this is a subject that was not heavily included in the previous exhibit, the current exhibit, at the Holocaust Center. We will also be expanding what we call kind of our responsibility section as well. So we'll talk a little bit about now what after you learn about the Holocaust, and closed quote. So adding a lot more information, some more context to what led up to the Holocaust, to the context of how the Holocaust continues to have an impact today, and some interactive sections where you can have those tough conversations that often come from learning about different points in history where horrible things had happened, such as the Holocaust and World War II. You'll have a greater chance to discuss that at length, or go over some of these subjects and learn about how the Holocaust continues to impact society today in this new exhibit. Really interesting stuff. In addition, Mulder said the project will play an important role in centering the vision of Holocaust education from the Zekelman Holocaust Center for years to come, saying, quote, "We are taking Michigan Holocaust survivors and we are centering their experiences throughout the exhibit, and for us, that is a long-term strategy that will help set us up for success long-term in terms of how we talk to visitors, how we get our visitors to connect to the subject matter, as well as, and as we prepare for the fact that right now, some of our Holocaust survivors aren't as able to be here to speak to our visitors using their voices as that becomes more and more important for us," and closed quote. So basically turning this into a more interactive exhibit so that as time goes on and we face the fact that Holocaust survivors are not going to be with us much longer. They're in their elder years, and some of them already are not able to be as mobile as before. Perhaps There's issues with COVID-19 and other diseases spreading around, maybe having deficiencies at this later stage of their life, or issues speaking. They may not be able to tell their stories much longer, so creating an exhibit, a main exhibit especially, that is more interactive may be more of a benefit to people in the future, and that's what they're focusing on as part of these new interactive and immersive parts of this main exhibit at the Holocaust Center. Again, the project is expected to be completed and the main exhibit reopened to the public in early 2024. For more information and to learn about ongoing projects, you can visit their website at holocaustcenter.org. holocaustcenter.org. It's also noted in this article from CNG News, this is the Farmington Press, that the main exhibit will remain open during the construction. It'll be a little bit different. The rest of the center will be open during the project. The main exhibit will be a little bit different. It will not be in the same place as they, of course, renovate that entire area and put a new main exhibit, so to speak, into the Holocaust Center. But in the meantime, still plenty of learning to be had at the Holocaust Center. You can head there anytime by visiting holocaustcenter.org to learn more information and find their open times. Those headlines and more are making news today on our local news page on civiccentertv.com. We'll get back to those in a little bit and look at a little bit more of what's going on today across Oakland County on social media after this break. But before that, we'll take a break and afterwards speak with Khalid Mirza, the founding director of the Augmented Reality Center at Oakland University, as they have an exciting event coming up later this week to open that up to the public, and they'll have more interaction with you and I and others in the public in the near future as they expand their development and their research into augmented reality, virtual reality, and more. That's a really interesting interview. You want to stick around for that. That's coming up next. Stay tuned. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine. To keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine. Hello, nose. My nose knows is when somebody uses the bathroom. Mom, Polly didn't flush. Ooh, I smell cookies.
I smell an A+.
How could my nose be running when it stays on my face?
Our noses know if those sniffles are just a cold, allergies, or COVID-19. So swab it. Test it. It's good to know.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. As always, you can find us online, civiccentertv.com/Megacast. Not just our flagship Civic Center TV, but also all of our partnering stations with community television and radio stations partnering and joining us live and live to tape Monday through Friday every single week, as well as statewide programming from My Michigan TV, also joining us every single week on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. That's also where you'll find links to all of our full episodes and each individual segment. So if you're not able to join us every single day from 10 to 11, or you're only able to join us for certain parts of our live shows 5 days a week, you can always find us and join us on your own time anytime. civiccentertv.com/Megacast. Well, as time goes on, technology develops, and lately it seems like it's been developing at a very rapid rate. And as we hear more about AI in the technology forefront, we're also hearing about expansions more and more into augmented reality and virtual reality. Those expansions are happening right here in our backyard as well at Oakland University. Joining us now on the program from Oakland University is their founding director of their Augmented Reality Center, Khalid Mirza, on today's edition of the Megacast. Khalid, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Tyler. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, glad to have you on. There's exciting news from Oakland University as they'll be having an open house this week, Friday, 10:30 to noon, at the Augmented Reality Center on the campus of Oakland University as the center has continued to develop AR and VR programs at Oakland University and is now opening that up also for some experiences to the public as well. Let's start off by talking about just what you do at the Augmented Reality Center at Oakland University. What are these programs all centered on?
Great question, Tyler. When we started the center, our main objective was to bring the industry up to speed with this technology and help them use it in production and various manufacturing things which they do. And the second objective was to also develop this skill set in the students so they come up to speed and become a productive workforce. So with that, we had three big initiatives which we do at the center. One of them is, of course, the educational programs. Being a university, we want to develop a very strong education program in the immersive technology. We also want to do projects for industry to help them solve some interesting problems as they face in this immersive technology area. And the third thing, which we thought was very important, was to introduce this technology to companies who are looking for what is this technology, how can we use it, how can it benefit us. So we thought the best way is to have them experience it. I mean, I can talk about the technology to you, I can show you a video, but it's nothing compared to when you actually experience it and figure out how can this be have a benefit for me. So the third initiative was to open immersive showcase laboratory, where anybody can come and experience the technology, see some demonstrations which are industrially focused, and with that, the grand opening is our big event where we are going to open the lab and we are going to announce public hours where anybody can come in to experience the technology.
And so for those that may not be familiar with augmented reality or with virtual reality, AR or VR, they sound a lot alike to the layperson when they're hearing about AR or VR or one versus the other. So define those for us. What are the differences and the similarities between augmented reality and virtual reality?
Okay, so this is always a point where a lot of people are confused about, what does it exactly mean? So we are living in our reality. That's our reality. When you look around us, we see the world as it is. If I completely replace it with a virtual world, which is virtual reality, you wear a headset where we cut you off from the real world, and we create an artificial reality for you, and you are immersed in it. That means that you can walk into that reality, you can interface with it, you can interact with it. That's virtual reality. A lot of the games which are available in virtual reality use this. They put you in an artificial world. There are many use cases in industry also where virtual reality can be used to envision designs in one-to-one in front of you, and you can walk up to it, you can interact with it. So there are a lot of use cases for virtual reality. But what I think, and we think at Augmented Reality Center, is that the augmented reality is going to be the key area for manufacturing industry. The difference here is that we don't cut you off from the real world. So you see the world as it is, and we augment it with information, with objects which are in front of you in the real world. And that's why we call it augmented reality. And I think for industry, safety is a big thing because you don't want to be cut off from the real world when you're doing things. So, but we do want to enhance it with however we want to do. So that's the main difference between augmented and virtual reality, where I think for industrial use cases, giving information in a completely new way really makes you more productive and opens up new ways to do things.
Let's just talk about the expansion into this kind of technology over the last 10 years or so. 10 years ago, 6 to 10 years ago, I was learning about this kind of stuff just on the most basic level while I was in college at Michigan State from one of my favorite professors, Dr. Ravindra Rattan, who was really getting into this stuff and diving into it. And 10 years later now, after I've graduated, this has become so much bigger than it was when we were first talking about this 10 years ago. How has AR and VR use, particularly in industry, as you mentioned, expanded in the last decade or so?
So the idea for immersive technologies, AR, VR, has been around for a while, as you mentioned. Various companies have been experimenting with it. Google came out with their Google Glass a while ago, and we have the virtual reality headsets available. What has changed recently is just the technology has advanced. We have miniaturized all the sensors and compute power which is needed to recreate a very realistic looking environments and realistic looking experience. So with that advancement, the newer equipment, newer headsets which are coming out are so much better than what has been used before, which means that now when you actually experience it, it removes the illusion that you are in a virtual setting. You just get involved with what you need to do wearing that headset or using that information. So I think that's the biggest change, and as we go forward, they are coming at a rapid pace. AI itself has also enhanced the way we can understand the real world, which is needed to do an AR or a VR experience. All of those advances, I think, is what's the exciting part right now, and we are at a point where we can really effectively start using this tool.
Khalid Mirza is the founding director of the Augmented Reality Center at Oakland University. You can learn more information about the ARC by visiting their website at oakland.edu/SECS. That is the website for the School of Engineering and Computer Science at Oakland University. Navigate down to labs and centers and just click on Augmented Reality Center to learn more information. You can also join them for their open house Friday, June 23rd, 10:30 a.m. until 12 noon on the campus of Oakland University, and experience some of their AR and VR experiences yourself and learn more about the times that they'll be open to the public in the future as well. And Khalid, as you talk about those programs that are going to be available to the public for people to experience AR and VR in the flesh as they want to in our community at any time, what sort of experiences will be available to the public if they are interested in that and want to venture over to the Augmented Reality Center?
So we're going to demonstrate a lot of industrial use cases because mainly the center is focused on helping our industry around us to come up to speed and use this technology. But at the same time, we are also focused that, we want to encourage middle schoolers, high schoolers, college students to become interested so they can become part of this journey. So you will see a variety of demonstrations where you can, where we showcase student projects in immersive technology along with the industrial use cases, and just generally have excitement going around this technology and how powerful this can be.
And in terms of how students are interacting with this, how does this add to the programs at Oakland University, particularly in the School of Engineering and Computer Science, to be able to have access to this sort of technology and then also, as you said, be teaching this next generation of people that are going to be working in industry of how to develop and implement AR and VR in the industries?
One main thing I would say is that, which is unique for our program, is that we very early on realized that this is a very visual looking technology. I mean, yes, there is a lot of engineering involved, hardware, software, high-tech equipment to realize this. But along with this, the use cases for this technology mean that it needs to be visually appealing. How you present it to the user, how it interacts, how the user interacts with the world we have created for them. So with engineering, we have combined design students. So it's really a collaboration between Oakland University and College for Creative Studies, and the faculty and students of both universities form a core team for the Augmented Reality Center. So what we are focused on is to create an interdisciplinary program where we have engineering and design That way, the engineers understand the design aspects of making this technology, and the design students understand the engineering technology behind it. And when they go and work in teams in the industry, they can work very effectively with each other. I think this is the right way to future-proof the things which are coming out now. We don't know what kind of jobs will be available, but with students getting education in both these areas are going to be much more needed in all those jobs.
Joining us on the program today is Khalid Mirza. He is the founding director of the Augmented Reality Center at Oakland University. Again, you can learn more information about the ARC by visiting oakland.edu, navigating to the website for the School of Engineering and Computer Science. Go down to their Labs and Centers tab and click on Augmented Reality Center and join them this week Friday, 10:30 a.m. until 12 noon at Oakland University for their open house at the Augmented Reality Center, and learn more about their open hours to the public so you can experience AR and VR in our local communities. And Khalid, as we talk about these advanced technologies expanding in recent years, so many people are connecting the next generation of high tech to AI. So in the cases of VR and AR, how does AI potentially factor into that in terms of developing these technologies further, but also interacting with these technologies, especially as you mentioned previously, with it being such a key part of development in industry?
So I think of it this way, Tyler, that if you are trying to learn something new, I mean, I can give you a document and you can read it and understand from it and do the things which you're supposed to do. It's one way to do it. Or I can show you a video, and it's a better way to learn and understand how am I supposed to do what I'm doing. But with this technology, the real exciting thing is that you get a personal assistant who is right there with you in the real world, is guiding you in the real world. So when you can connect AI with this application, because first you have to understand what you are seeing. The application, immersive application, has to understand the same way what you are seeing, so it can guide you in that world, and it can help you and do all the necessary steps you need to do. So I think it's a marriage made in heaven, that AI can assist immersive technology, and we can come up with very, very powerful and useful information. We don't create new information in this technology. It's not about that. It's how you present it to the user. Because now we have a way where we can connect the real world with the digital world. So it's very exciting.
And so what sort of is the vision for how much it's developed just in the last 10 years or so to this point, but where does the industry, professionals like yourselves and others, experts, see AR and VR expanding in the next 10 years?
Already, there are companies which are using this technology in a variety of ways, especially the manufacturing industry. We were surprised how much interest was there when we proposed this to the industry, who are now the founding members of this center, is they understood that how they can use this technology and really increase their productivity. So there is no one example. I mean, it can be used for training. It can be used for designing. It can be used for collaboration between teams which are at different locations, and they can all be in the same area and without the need of being in the same room. So there are so many different ways. You can make a product digitally, and then without even producing it, you can visualize how this is going to be, and you can also show it to your clients and get a feel for without even realizing it physically. So there are so many different ways this technology can be used. And as the presentation becomes more and more realistic, the real world and digital world are so close to each other that the differentiation is hard to make now.
You can find more information on oakland.edu. Go over to the School of Engineering and Computer Science to learn more about the Augmented Reality Center. And of course, you can join Khalid Mirza and the entire team from the Augmented Reality Center at their open house on Friday, June 23rd, 10:30 a.m. until 12 noon on the campus of Oakland University. Khalid, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Glad to have you on. Really interesting stuff, as always, happening at Oakland University, especially in the Computer Science Center over there, where the Augmented Reality Center opens to the public for their open house June 23rd, Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon. You'll also learn more information on oakland.edu about their future public hours, so you can experience AR and VR right here in our local communities in Oakland County at Oakland University. We'll take a break on the Megacast. On the other side, more news from around our local area and some fun stuff happening right here in Oakland County that we've found on social media from over the weekend and this morning. That's coming up next. Stay tuned. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important.
And now the same is true in the face of flu.
Influenza has the power to infect millions.
But it's easy to protect yourself, your family, and your community.
The flu vaccine is safe and effective. And with COVID-19 still around,
it's essential. Together we can face flu season head on.
Visit michigan.gov/flu.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. You can always stay up to date with us on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. You'll find us live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m., as well as find us live to tape where we're going to be throughout Oakland County, community television and radio stations joining us during our live show and even a little bit after, and all around their other regular programming, all about your hometowns right here in Oakland County. All of those partnering stations can be found on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. In addition, that's where you'll find all of our full shows and each individual segment on demand as well. So whether you have an hour to join us each and every day at various points of your day, or only certain segments or certain topics or subject matter are of interest and importance to you, you can always find those on demand, civiccentertv.com/Megacast. In addition, on our local news page, plenty of news making headlines each and every day throughout the work week. We'll give you access to each and every one of those stories throughout the week as they're coming in, and update those each and every day before our live shows. We've already discussed some of what's going on throughout our local area on our local news page today. Finally, what's making headlines there from Edward P. Voss at MLive. Dexter's Ben Goldstein on Friday night became the latest Michigander to spring victorious on the hit syndicated trivia show Jeopardy. Goldstein is a University of Michigan grad, but I won't hold that against him, from Prairie View, Illinois, who moved back to the Ann Arbor area, moving to Dexter just about 10 years ago. The Michigan man got off to a great start, even in money with the other two contestants at the first commercial break, before finishing the Jeopardy round in the lead. That's when he took control, extending his lead into the double Jeopardy round and putting himself well ahead of the returning champion and the other contestant. Then he went for it all, a $4,000 daily double wager, which he did not answer correctly, unfortunately. That gave Friday's game a chance to become a nail-biter, with another contestant then taking the lead after they got the second daily double of the double Jeopardy round and got that answer correct. So then it all came down to Final Jeopardy, where the topic was American geography, and that question bit all three contestants, nobody getting the answer correct in Final Jeopardy. But perhaps Mr. Smarty Pants over here with his University of Michigan degree was able to out-strategize his fellow challengers and challenger and the returning champion, and his more conservative wager left him in the lead at the end of the game. That's all that matters. You got to have more points than the other people. He did. More money in his pocket at the end of the game, becomes the champion the latest champion of Jeopardy. Goldstein returns to your television screens tonight to defend his championship on Jeopardy. Check your local listings for information on when and where Jeopardy airs in your local area. Here in Metro Detroit, it airs on Channel 4 on our local NBC affiliate each and every night. But in different areas of Michigan, including our local area, maybe it airs on different stations as it is a syndicated show nationally. So check your local listings for more information on where to watch Ben Goldstein defend his Jeopardy championship and hopefully keep that title of Jeopardy champion right here in the state of Michigan for many, many days to come. Congratulations to Mr. Goldstein, and of course we are rooting for him tonight as he defends his Jeopardy championship and tries to go and make that a 2-day championship. That full article linked on our website, civiccentertv.com, on our local news page today. Now we're going to do something a little bit different, get out of the newspapers and onto social media to take a look at what else has been going on around Oakland County over the weekend and what's going on today. It's, of course, a federal holiday recognizing Juneteenth, the anniversary of the announcement of the freeing of African-American slaves in Galveston, Texas, that was made on this day way back in 1865. Plenty of communities in our local area held events over the weekend and are holding more today to commemorate Juneteenth, and our local county government has been recognizing the holiday by lighting the Oakland County building in green, red, and yellow over the weekend and today. Take a look at this picture if you have that there, Calvin. Yep, you see that on your screen. Picture from the Oakland County Executive's Office Facebook page where they wrote the caption, quote, "In observance of Juneteenth, the Oakland County Courthouse building will be awash in red, green, and yellow starting tonight and through June 19th. This was posted on June the 14th at 9:30 p.m. So again, this will be lit all the way through tonight in commemoration of Juneteenth. They continued on their Facebook post saying, quote, "These lights represent Oakland County's dedication to freedom from discrimination, violence, and unequal treatment on Juneteenth and every day as well," giving then a hashtag always moving forward, and closed quote. You can see that on the Oakland County, on the Facebook's website. Go to Facebook and just search Oakland County, Michigan government to see that post and see the lights. Or if you're driving by the Oakland County Courthouse tonight, while you're in the Pontiac area, those lights will be shining bright tonight off of the courthouse building to recognize Juneteenth. In addition, Oakland County Parks is opening many of its locations today free of charge. One of its several free parks entry days coming up this summer is, in fact, today. This is available at locations all across the county, with Oakland Park stating on its website, quote, "In honor of Juneteenth, visitors can enjoy free daily park entry with access to trails, dog parks, playgrounds, beaches, and more at Groveland Oaks and Independence Oaks, and fishing spots at Addison Oaks County Park, Groveland Oaks County Park, Highland Oaks County Park, Independence Oaks County Park, Lyons Oaks County Park, as well as Lyons Oaks Dog Park. In addition, you'll find these free entry available at Orion Oaks County Park, Orion Oaks Dog Park, Red Oaks Dog Park, and County Park as well. All this information can be found on Oakland County's website. Park hours began this morning 30 minutes before sunrise and will be open until 30 minutes before sunset tonight, or as posted on the signs at the park. I'll take a quick look at our weather forecast today to see when sunset is expected here in Oakland County, so we'll have an idea. Again, this is open until about 30 minutes prior to sunset each and every night. Tonight, sunset is expected at 9:14 p.m., so let's round that up to 9:15 p.m., go back 30 minutes. 8:45 p.m. is about the time where these parks will close tonight. So right up until about that time, you'll be able to get in for free at many of these Oakland County parks. Again, you can find more information by going to oakgov.com/community and then scrolling down to Oakland County Parks, clicking on their calendar, and then you'll find dates and more information for today's Free Parks Entry Day, as well as other Free Parks Entry Days all throughout the summer going forward. Lastly, this morning around town on social media, mark your calendars to expand your professional network with several of our local chambers of commerce next month, just up the street from me in Novi. The Summer Multi-Chamber Mixer is from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, July 26th at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. You'll have opportunities to expand your business network, develop partnerships between yours and other local businesses, pitch ideas, and hey, maybe even meet some potential employers at this mixer as well, with chambers from Novi, Southfield, Farmington, and the Greater West Bloomfield area, as well as the Lakes Area Chamber of Commerce, all joining in on the fun. Sponsorships, tables, and tickets are currently available through the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. $20 is the cost for pre-ordering tickets if you are a member of one of these chambers. $25 for chamber members at the door, and $30 per ticket for those who they're calling, quote-unquote, future members of any of these chambers, end quote. For more information on tickets and other opportunities at this event and others, contact the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce and give Suzanne Levine, their executive director, a hello from the team here at the Megacast by emailing them at wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com or calling them 248-626-3636. Again, you can get tickets and more information on the multi-chamber mixer happening at the Suburban Collection Showplace on Wednesday, July 26th from 4 to 6:30 p.m. by sending an email to wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com or calling the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce 248-626-3636. All of our headlines are making news today on our local news page on civiccentertv.com, as well as throughout the week before each and every one of our live Megacast shows each morning at 10 a.m. You can also check back with us every day for more about what's going on around town on social media and beyond. Stay tuned. Coming up, we got a great show ahead for you as we wrap up today's program. One more segment coming up next. We'll talk to one of the many artists at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair. Coming up next, someone who is taking wood that drifts onto the shores of Lake Michigan and turning it into beautiful art. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss that. It's coming up next on the Megacast.
Many people are feeling overwhelmed and struggling with mental wellness these days. So be kind to your mind. Give yourself permission to breathe. Share your feelings. You are not alone. Have hope. Talk to a Stay Well counselor for free confidential help 24/7 through the COVID-19 hotline.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19, he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Can't see because the pencil's there.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. You can always find us online on civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find information on our station at Civic Center TV and all of our partnering stations joining us each and every day live from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the program, as well as live to tape. And find us on demand as well, civiccentertv.com/megacast, full episodes and each individual segment on demand there for you to watch us each and every day. Joining us now on the program is someone who is taking wood that drifts onto the shores of Lake Michigan and turning it into amazing art. You'll see her later on this summer in July at the Ann Arbor Art Fair. Joining us now on the Megacast is mixed media artist Amy Lansburg. Amy, thank you so much for being with us today. Glad to have you on. I'm not hearing you at the moment. Calvin at Master Control, are we good with her audio? Is she unmuted? Because I'm not hearing her at the moment. Well, we will. In the meantime, I'll talk about where you can see her. You can see her at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair. That's happening July 20th. Now I can hear you, Amy. There you are.
You can.
Thank you for being with us today. So glad to have you on. I understand that your art is quite unique. You're taking driftwood that comes onto the shores of Lake Michigan. That's one of the ways that you find the materials for your art. So tell us a little bit about your art and what you're creating from this driftwood.
Well, it's all from Lake Superior, actually. It's all from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in a very remote area, which is where I'm from. And I make figures and animals out of it, people and animals. I've done it since I was a child. And I started out showing work by making furniture out of driftwood. That was the first work that I showed professionally.
So it's not just furniture, though, that you're making. You're making all different kinds of art. You're labeled as a mixed media artist. So for you, to define that, what sort of art are you kind of immersing yourself in now, as opposed to as you were developing when you mentioned you're turning the driftwood then into furniture early on?
Yeah, I made a lot of furniture. I primarily became known for making chairs out of driftwood, both full-size functional ones and smaller ones. And then over time, it just evolved back into the figures that I made as a child, except I had the woodworking skills to be able to assemble them. I'm a self-taught woodworker. I taught myself how to do it. But a lot of my figures are assembled with mortise and tenon joinery, which is standard furniture making joinery.
So what's really interesting is that, as you mentioned, you're using driftwood in a lot of this art from Lake Superior to turn it into these various pieces, and you've been doing that for a number of years. But how did that develop, taking driftwood from Lake Superior and turning that into art? What about the driftwood made that the target of materials for you to use in these pieces?
That's really a good question. I grew up on Lake Superior, and I've walked the beach literally since I could walk, and collected all kinds of things from driftwood to beach glass to metal parts wash up on the beach. We find some really interesting things. And I don't know, it wasn't intentional. It just developed in me. I can't really explain it.
So joining us on the program today is Amy Lansburg, a mixed media artist. You'll see at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair. You can also find her online, including some of her art on social media, on Instagram at Amy Lansburg Art, where you'll find information and ways to get in contact with her if you'd like to purchase some of the art or just look at it before you can ultimately talk to her at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair in late July. More information on that can be found on theannarborartfair.com. And so, Amy, take us through your journey as an artist, from someone that was experimenting as a younger person with creating art from this driftwood to ultimately turning this into something that you're doing as a business and as a profession, and traveling to these art shows such as Ann Arbor each and every year.
Yeah, really with it was really through the support and encouragement of a lot of other people, from family members to friends to fellow artists. It really is a long journey. Ann Arbor is one of the top shows in the country, and you get artists from all over the country, some of the best artists in the country. And I started out by doing smaller shows, local shows with a little pop-up tent and, a horrible display, and not really having any, you just jump in and do it. There's no, there are no classes in how to do this. Although there is a National Association of Independent Artists now has an emerging artist program. And some of the art shows like Ann Arbor have emerging art show artist programs to, help guide people through the process. It's a lot easier for people to do now than when I started out.
And you mentioned earlier on that you grew up near Lake Superior. A lot of the materials you're getting for your art are coming from driftwood from Lake Superior. But what else do you draw inspiration from as you're devising these pieces and ultimately as you're turning driftwood into artwood and then selling it to the public?
Well, a couple things. I'm a people watcher, and I love watching the interactions between people, and also the area that I'm from. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan is the most beautiful place in the world, in my opinion. And, it's very remote, lots of roadside flowers, farms on the roadside. And that's really where a lot of my inspiration comes from.
You can find more information on the Ann Arbor Art Fair by visiting theannarborartfair.com, and you can see Amy and hundreds of other artists all throughout 30 blocks of downtown Ann Arbor, Thursday, July 20th through Saturday, July 22nd. Again, the website is theannarborartfair.com, theannarborartfair.com. Joining us on the program today is Amy Lansburg, a mixed media artist with Lake Superior Driftwood, on today's edition of the Megacast. And in terms of some of the art that you're going to be bringing with you, of course, you've mentioned in the past that you've created a lot of furniture out of this driftwood, but you make a number of other pieces too. What are you planning on bringing with you down to Ann Arbor this summer?
Yeah, I don't make furniture anymore. So a lot of it is wall pieces, or you can see over my shoulder. These are some of the figures that I've made from the driftwood, the three-dimensional standing figures.
And so where did that begin for you as you transitioned from creating furniture to creating some of these sculptures, still out of that same driftwood off of Lake Superior?
Yeah, if you look at the wood, it actually speaks to you. It has its own story to tell. You can see arms and faces and all kinds of things in the wood itself. And so that's where a lot of the inspiration comes from. When I'm working, I don't ever start out with a plan. I just move things around until something starts to evolve. So it's kind of letting the wood and the materials tell their own story. There's very little manipulation in what I do. I try to leave it as much in its natural form as possible.
And what's interesting too about using driftwood is that, as you said, each piece has its own story. It's had its own journey from where it originated on Lake Superior to eventually drifting over to the shores, and some of the different nicks and bruises and other damages that may occur as it's drifting through the waters of Lake Superior and ultimately to the shores. And so how does that create opportunity for you to take different pieces of wood and manipulate them into something that's got its own inner beauty to it, but also has been designed to have a different form of beauty to it also?
Yeah, it's funny because I do shows all over the country, and I've been in South Florida and seen somebody walking by in the aisle. I can always tell what they're thinking because they stop and they do a double take and they actually recognize the wood. The wood from up north, from Lake Superior and to some degree Lake Michigan, is very different than the wood you'll find in other places. Like, people often ask me if I collect from the ocean, and I never do. It's all straight from Lake Superior.
Joining us on the program is Amy Lansburg, a mixed media artist that you'll see at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair. It's 3 art fairs all in one on over 30 blocks of the downtown Ann Arbor area. That is happening July 20th through the 22nd, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. More information on all the artists and experiences at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair can be found on theannarborartfair.com, and you can visit Amy's social media on Instagram at Amy Lansburg Art to find more of her art, so you can get a little bit of a preview before you see her ultimately in Ann Arbor later on in July. And you mentioned that this has been a labor of love for you for a number of years. You've been creating art using driftwood from Lake Superior since you were a child. And so for those that are interested in art and using their creativity and the materials that are around them, what advice do you have for people that are maybe exploring this interest of theirs and maybe even exploring it as a potential career path?
Just do it. Start with something that you don't care about. One of my favorite materials to work with is cardboard. I love painting on cardboard or on wood. And, you know, if you make a mistake on cardboard, throw it out, start over. There's really nothing to be afraid of. Just do it.
And again, more information can be found on the Ann Arbor Art Fair at theannarborartfair.com. Joining us on the program is mixed media artist Amy Lansburg, who's one of the many different artists in all different disciplines that you'll see at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair. Amy, a couple more minutes with you before we'll need to say goodbye for the day. Anything else that you'd like us to know about your art before we ultimately see you later on in July at the Ann Arbor Art Fair, or other topics that we haven't talked about yet today?
No, there's just a lot of great art at the art fair. You know, all different types of art and all different types of events, and people should come out. It doesn't mean that you have to buy something to come out and look. We're there to exhibit our work for people to come and see. And it's great when people bring their kids through and allow their kids to see the different types of work and talk to them about it. So I would just encourage people to come out.
And it's great to see artists, not just from all over Michigan, but around the country and around the world coming to Ann Arbor. So many different disciplines, so many different styles, so many different methods that you'll see on display and be able to purchase and interact with at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair. Amy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, and thanks for helping to promote the show. We look forward to seeing everybody.
Absolutely. Glad to have you on, and good to see you, and we're hoping to see you very soon at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair, July 20th through the 22nd in downtown Ann Arbor. 30 blocks of the city with hundreds of artists from different disciplines, over 1,000 artists in total at these 3 different art fairs, all combined into one. You can learn more information at theannarborartfair.com. Come out and join Amy and other artists from across the state of Michigan and support art right here in the Great Lakes state, including artists that are taking the beauty of the state of Michigan, and she mentioned the beauty of the Upper Peninsula and northern Michigan, and putting that out on display, showing the world just what Michigan is truly made of. theannarborartfair.com, the place to go for more information. That is going to do it for today's edition of the Megacast. As always, we thank you for joining us, as well as each and every one of our guests today, Khalid Mirza from the Augmented Reality Center at Oakland University, as well as Amy Lansburg, a mixed media artist that you'll be seeing very soon, just a little over a month away, at the Ann Arbor Art Fair. Begins 1 month and 1 day from today's program. Very excited and glad to have both of them on today. There's a lot going on in our local area here in Oakland County and in southeastern Michigan very, very soon. In addition, you can always stay up to date with us and all of our guests by visiting our website on civiccentertv.com/megacast. Great place to go if you're looking to find us in your local area. Maybe you're driving through and listening to us on 89.3 Lakes FM or on 88.1 The Biff, and you want to watch these shows back later, you want to check out some of Amy's art, you want to check out some of the more information and visuals we had from the Oakland University Augmented Reality Center, you can always do that on demand on civiccentertv.com/megacast and on community television and radio stations all throughout the Oakland County area and statewide outlets such as My Michigan TV. All the information you need on our program is on civiccentertv.com/megacast, and you're always invited to join us live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for our live program each and every day to stay up to date on everything happening in Oakland County and across the state of Michigan, as we take what's in the news or what's happening around town and talk to experts and talk to people directly involved in long-form interviews. Get the full picture, get the full story from multiple angles and from people directly involved. We always enjoy having them on, and we always enjoy having you with us each and every day for the Megacast. Big thank you to our crew as well, Jared Clark at the studio of My Michigan TV, and as always, our director making everything happen at Civic Center TV, Calvin Brown, and thank him for his efforts each and every day. Until next time, I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for joining us. Take care of each other, and we'll see you very soon.